Let's get it. All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Bolden Movement podcast. Today I have my boy Tre Boujai on talking
Yes,
about
sir.
spirituality and why it's so important in his life and where that came from. I'll speak a little bit about my journey and my views on spirituality, and he'll share his as well. But of course, we want you guys to get some golden nuggets out this episode today. All right,
Yeah.
so welcome, Tre. What's up? Good evening. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, man. Thanks for
Welcome to
having me on.
fatherhood. Everything.
Yeah, man. It's been great. I appreciate you for having me on the pod, man. It's been great to watch you come on and share some nuggets and be able to have a great conversation, man. That's what it's about.
Let's get it. All right, so first and foremost, exciting part of 2025. I'm right into it. What has happened in 2025? Come on.
For me, it's the wild adventure of fatherhood, man. It's been a blessing to watch my son grow. He's 10 months now. This coming week, starting to crawl, and just watching my wife become a mother and how things progress and change. And you ask for this stage of life, it comes. You don't know what to do with it, but just enjoying each step, man. Just enjoying each day. So I would just say that. That's the biggest thing, man. How about you? Talk to me, man. What's
Yeah.
the best part of
Me,
2025 so
oh
far?
man, 2025. Man, there's been so many changes. I changed gyms
Mm-hmm.
this year, right? So I work private contract work, whether I'm doing individual personalized training or as a group.
Right.
And a big thing for me was to switch gyms because everybody's used to going to this location, even me. And, a lot of the figures change, the overhead changes, and you
Right.
don't know what you'll lose, when you make a jump like that. But you also know that the ceiling is higher there. So I was struggling with jumping, gyms, a whole different
Right.
location, where I was going to have to take a big hit probably for a couple months, but the ceiling was higher to get past where I was. So a big thing was switching gyms. Thank you, hometown. Oh man, holding it down. So when I first was a trainer 10 years ago in 2015, when I got the books from the YMCA when Kelly brought them in for her son, and he
Mm-hmm.
never used them. So I had the books. So 10 years ago, when I was a trainer, there was no such thing as really working by yourself. You just worked for somebody or a gym.
Right.
So the fact that independent contractors can work now as trainers and run their own business, that's definitely a breath of fresh air. So I'm definitely going to make it as big as I can. So you see the movement going. I'm going to keep pushing it
Opportunity,
in
man.
every direction. So I
That's
love
it.
that space a lot. So I'm thankful for that. But that was big for me.
Expansion, man. Opportunity.
Yeah.
I see you just growing and making yourself uncomfortable so that you can make those strides, man. I love to see it, and I think that's the stage of life we're in, man. Just increasing our skill set so that we can go out and be as effective as possible, man. So I applaud you, man. I love to
I
see
appreciate you,
I love
man.
to see the fam doing well.
I
So it's a beautiful
appreciate
thing,
you.
no doubt.
Appreciate you, man. And as we spoke a little bit before we started, but I know you're doing well over there. And what I want to get into today is where your that faith, that drive comes from, because we all know when you really want to get somewhere, you have to believe in something, right? You
Right,
have to
right.
have a faith in something. Talking about spirituality and like your faith and what drives you and what you lean on in hard times and highs
Hmm.
and lows.
Hmm.
When did it start? Did you go to church as a young kid? Did you not? Like, what was
Sure.
your emotion about church?
Sure. So, kind of grew up, knowing about God. I went to Frederick Christian Academy for the first couple of years until like middle school. Then went to public school where I met and with all my people. But I so I grew up knowing about God.
Right.
Trying to find my own way. And really found God for myself like in college. Pretty much my last year of college through my friend group. My roommate at the time, my boy Brandon, we had a really cool group of people that we would do Bible study together on occasion, and really just be able to have real conversations about who God is, what it means that God loves you, He died for you. What do those conversations mean? And really just the fact that there is a reason for me being here. I think that we all kind of search for that of like, what's my purpose? what does this mean that I'm here for a reason? I think I really connected to that, and that there's a purpose for it, and I really want to be able to share that life, share that peace that's available. Um, so I'm currently a worship leader at my church at Strong Tower, and really enjoying it, man. Really enjoying growing and being a part of other people's growth. So yeah, man, that's really where I am now, and that kind of how that process came about for me.
Okay. And so, for those who don't know, may not fully know, but what is a worship leader? Like, what is your role now? Like,
Sure.
what does that mean?
Sure. So, we were having a worship service on Sunday, like typical. Um, as we're buying a building and building a church, we're now meeting on Saturday. So, what worship leader means, well, I guess my title, let me start with that. My title is the band leader, band director, for the worship ministry. So I play the keys most weekends.
Are you
Um,
still singing?
yeah. So I'm double dipping most weeks and singing
Okay.
and playing the keys and really trying to the biggest thing that I'm doing right now, I provide resources for my whole team. So I'm scheduling who's playing the keys and each instrument, the drums, the bass, the guitar, how many
Mm,
vocals we have on Saturday to be able to sing and lead worship. So I'm really scheduling all of that. I'm picking out the songs. I'm making sure everybody has everything that they need, and then just making sure that that worship service runs well. And like, we're stewarding the moment. We're ushering God in. And we're giving God our best through worship and praise. So I love it. That's my
okay.
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so, is there like any like tough like dynamics? Is there like a bass player that won't play with this key player, or is there like a drum player that you know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
There's
You
there's
know, like
always there's always things like that. Like I always think about it from this standpoint. Like we're dealing with people, and especially when we get into like thinking about church and thinking about what that means, and there's so much church hurt out here, and what does it mean to come together? Like at the end of the day, we're dealing with people, so you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have things that arise. Is like you're
right,
supposed to play this part, like you were in practice, and you're supposed to play this part, but at the end of the day, when you keep the main thing of like we're here to glorify God, we're here to give Him
right.
our best and lead people. Once you have that at the center of your ministry and really what you're focused on, that's what matters. That's what keeps me coming back and um excited to lead a group of people. Yeah, keep the main thing, and yeah, the gifts and the blessings that is within that.
I
So
like that to refocus. Kind of
for sure.
like sounds like we're saying like so in my arena, right, in the gym arena, in the fitness world.
Hmm.
I have to lead. I have to, always be on. I can't really have a day where I'm like,
Yep.
like I have to be 110% every day. And I would say my favorite part of leading is actually seeing the growth
Right.
of, like that tough situation or that tough client who starts to click. And like you actually get that smile and you feel it in your body, like in your chest, like, yes, it hit. And like, so like in your arena, is it similar like hitting certain notes or hitting certain songs or like ending it a certain way or certain solos? Like, do you get a feeling of like, yes, like, that serotonin rush, like when somebody does hit the way they're supposed to hit, like as you lead?
Yeah, that's those are the best moments, man, of like seeing people make that progress of like, okay, they weren't comfortable leading songs. You give them something to work on for a number of weeks. Like just this past week, one of our youth leaders, he's a young adult. He just got up and led worship on the keys for the first time. And it's like being able to see him step in, start to learn the keyboard, start to be able to sing and play the keyboard at the same time, and then step up and lead a service. Like that's cool to be able to be like, I'm helping you get the vision of what you can do, and then go execute it. Seeing the progress of each individual on my team, like that's what matters. It's like the goal of every church is to reach the lost and then to be able to disciple people. And it's like being able to see that growth on my team and within the church and just in those relationships personally, that's what matters, man. That's what matters.
Definitely build tight, close, genuine relationships when you do
Yeah.
lead that team and you
Yeah.
work with people so close. So like when you were like younger before you were where you are now,
Hmm.
what was was it about the church that made you feel like you belong there? That made it feel like right? Because I know, like for
Man.
me, example, like I would always be in church with my grandmother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baptist church, and I loved going to church with her. Like it was one of my great memories with my grandmother. She's still alive, love her.
Yeah.
But it's one of my great memories, and like I remember that's when I fell in love with the drums. So now I watch
Okay.
the drums really heavy when I'm in church. She's up close. Grandma's up close. I can see the band, right? And
Right.
like, so now when I go into middle school, I start playing the snare drum and the drum set and stuff like that. So like that triggered something for me that I love. Like I love
Mm-hmm.
going down that rabbit hole, playing the drums and the drum set and
Yeah.
like teaching
Yeah.
myself that and stuff like that. And then eventually I took lessons, and then my teacher would have a bass drum, and like we would just jam out for an hour, and I would
Yeah.
leave. So like that led to that. So like, do you have any examples of it trickled this or triggered that? Like,
Sure. Again, I have to come back to those relationships of like when I got out of college again, found God, we got baptized in 2015 once I joined the church after I graduated school. And I'd sang on the worship team for 8 years before I stepped into this position. Just as volunteering, singing every week. And the I think the biggest part, like the thing that kept me coming back, the thing that got me excited is like I would show up to practice in the middle of the week on Wednesdays, and it would just be a rough week, and I would show up and it would be my people. Like once you build those relationships, they become your friends, they become your family. When you're going through something, I remember my grandma dying, and I just shared it at practice, and being able to be vulnerable and just talk about it, and then you sit down and you pray together of like, look, man, you never have the right words to say, but just being able to be like, yo, I love you, man.
right,
I'm thinking and I'm praying for you. Being able to go through situations together, like in those small groups, that's man, that's what really ignited my love for being a part of something like that. So I did that for 8 years before stepping into this or being paid for anything. But
right,
it's man, yeah, like you said, like the relationship aspect of it and being able to see the growth. Um, I admire you. And the other thing about what you do, I'm also in sales. Like I understand the full
right,
process of how to get in contact with clients, like that side. But then I hand
right.
them off to customer service of like, if you have any problems, we have a great customer service. But you're everything. You're the sales, you're the
I gotta
customer
be
service,
everything.
you're the
Yeah,
execution.
you have
So
to like
man,
go out and train on the floor like this. All of
right.
it. Yeah,
Right, man. And that takes multiple parts of your personality. Like that's the business side of you. That's the outgoing side of you. That's the encourager in you. Like there's
yeah,
multiple aspects that you have to walk in for that. So, man, that's like a ministry all by itself. So,
yeah.
that's cool.
I like that, and I appreciate that you notice
Yeah, for
the
sure.
work that
For
I'm
sure.
doing because a lot of times people talk about personal trainers like they're like just dumb as a rock and like they can only count to like 10 or 12. You know what I mean? So
And when you don't know, you don't know, but
when you
that's
don't know, you
some of
don't
that's
know.
ignorant.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I definitely go deep intimately and take it very seriously and I love my clients, love their success no matter where they are.
Right.
No matter where they start from, I love it. Like this is where we are. So nobody's ever excluded from training with me and like people will get intimidated to train with me because like those videos look intense. Yeah, I put out the intense ones, but like I'm gonna meet you where you're at,
Right.
right? Because if it was a video just a casual workout going on, you may not watch it. But some of these ones are lit. I'm giving you a preview, but I want to meet you where you're at. So that I try to get across to people is that this is for your health.
Right.
This isn't like a tab that you're paying that you're never gonna see again. You know what I mean? Like this isn't a bar tab. This is a tab to your body. So it's like you have to think about in the long run. Do I want high blood pressure and gout and like type 2 diabetes? I'll just wait and get healthy later. But like, that Monday that never comes, like people always like, I'm gonna start Monday, but Monday's also the same day a lot of men have heart attacks first thing in the morning. So you got to think about like stop waiting on Monday. You don't know if that Monday is going to be that Monday or that Monday, right? So I try to push across the severity of it. And, just speaking to you, becoming a new father, like, do you feel like you've become more black and white, or have had to set more boundaries.
Mm. I love that word, man. I love that word of boundaries of like, first going back to that, are you willing to invest? Are you willing to invest in yourself and walk into that? And stepping into fatherhood is like, okay, now you have another hat. Not, I always use the metaphor of hats. Like I have the work
Yes.
hat, I have the worship hat, I have the father hat, I have the husband hat. Once you pick up that fatherhood hat, it's like I have to make decisions about I'm not going to let certain things impact my ability to be a great father. At the end of the day,
Mm,
when I think about my life in 20, 25 years, I want to be sitting at the Thanksgiving table with grandkids and with my son and with their spouse and be able to enjoy my family. Like that I'm doing all of that for my family and for who I want to be as a man. And knowing that now, I'm not willing to sacrifice my time with my family anymore. Like I'm not like I could.
right.
I remember like in the early days when I first joined the church on the worship team. I was driving down to DC. I was taking lessons every week. You know, I was doing an hour there, hour back, 2 hour lesson. It was like I'm just working and coming home to my parents' house anyway. But like
Right.
now, I'm coming home to a wife. I'm coming home to trying to get home for bedtime and see my
Yeah.
man and seeing what he did today. Like my
Right.
time is valuable and you're more aware of that as you get older.
Mm,
So where are you willing to invest not only your time and your treasure, like being your money, but each day to day, again, time and treasure, like your money, like that, are the things that are on the front of my mind. So, um,
right.
I'm trying to steward that well.
And that makes a lot of sense. And, and you're speaking out of maturity right now, right? So
Mm,
it's not just about the money. It's about your leisure. How are you gonna lead your day? And like what I find is because I have to motivate the whole business every day if I want it to
right.
drive and keep going. So it's very different if I start the day off with like a podcast, or if I started off with a comedy, or if I started off with music, or if I started off with opening an email, or I started off with Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. My days go different depending on the first thing I open. I pay attention to this because that's going to drive my energy for the day. That first thing that I see, and I got curious about it, and I found that it's because you're still kind of in that trance when you wake up. So
Hmm.
you're really kind of taking in, that energy and what you're first seeing when you wake up. So that's why you're not supposed to like look at your phone and stuff like that when you first wake up.
Hmm.
But if I can just listen and have the headphones in and drink my tea and have that peace, I mean, my day is much different. So I'll have that 10 minutes of peace, and I try to I really fight with people to have it, especially
Yeah, you
men,
have
like
to.
just 10 minutes, like, and a lot of people work from home. A lot of people, may work from home 3 days or this days, but like 10 minutes twice a day of peace. Sit and have your coffee, have your tea, put the screen down, like listen to a song, like a book, whatever. But like
Yeah,
that, you have to listen to your voice too. Like you couldn't get to a higher point, and I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. If there's
bro, you're
always another
talking right now.
verse in your head, right? There's always music in your head. There's always, TV, program in your mind. And it's like, if you turn all that off, don't be afraid. Just listen to your own voice.
Voice, yeah, man.
That's the most important one. So, I find to look, because we have less friends and less acquaintances growing up because we have more busy lives, and our lives aren't as parallel as they were when we were younger, right? Although we're
Right,
not doing the same thing. So now with less people around, it's not that it makes me sad. It just makes me know like this is what growth feels like. It's not going to be a big arena. It's going to be these gaps where you're going to be alone, where you have to look, intrinsically. And that's not for you. Now it's for your family too. It's for your wife
right,
too. So now
right.
it's like, okay, and your son can say to you in 20 years, like, Dad, I'm glad you made some of these decisions. Like at first I was mad, like, what are you doing? This and that, but I understand why you did what you did. And you have all that, power, which I think is amazing to have that effect on your son to like lead him as a man. I think that's
Yeah,
powerful. I think that's a great place to be because when you don't have that leadership as a man, you can go any which way. And I think that, you as a father, you're going to set a great example for your son. So,
mm,
I I do pray that you do get a chance and spend more time with them and don't miss,
thank you, bro.
too many of those moments. Definitely.
Yeah, that's
Um,
where your priorities at.
yeah. So when have a good day, say you have something big
Hmm.
going on, do you have any type of routine or rituals or anything that you would do if you want to prep yourself?
Yeah, having a big day. I mean, it's something I'm stressed about or something I'm thinking about. My go-to. I'm a big music buff. Like I'm a big music head of like our boy Dalton is like this too of like I will listen to a song, I will connect with a song and just listen to it until I'm sick of that song. And
Yeah,
a lot of the time is that's a worship song for me. Of if I connect to a song, it was like a lot of times I'll connect to the lyrics of the song and don't necessarily know that I'm trying to sing that over my life. Like I'm trying to claim whatever's in that song, which is why
right,
I like worship music of like really declaring who God is, what he has the ability to do, me trusting him to like work it out on my behalf. Like there's certain things I don't have to carry everything on my own. And I think that's
right,
one of the things that I held on to with worship music and with the promises that God has given us is like I don't have to walk this journey alone. We're designed to be in community, which is why I love what I do. And then the other part of that is like through his sacrifice, I don't have to carry everything by myself. Like again, we going back to the hats. If you have 8 different hats that you're wearing in different seasons, like I don't have to carry the weight of everybody else's stuff because of what he did for me. So I try to lean into music and declare and accepting accepting that for myself. Yeah.
yeah, that's good. So definitely refocusing with music. I like it. I used to
Yeah.
listen to music a lot, when I was stressed as well. I mean, it's to the point now where like I'm almost more at a state of peace when I don't have headphones in
Mm.
because, I mean, I've both worked in gyms. There's always music just pumping, 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 pumping. So
Okay.
like, like it's the same songs playing. It's like, all right, now I have headphones in. Now you have to get the nicer headphones. Now they came out with these canceling headphones. It's like, and it gets to a point where it's just like I can't hear myself anymore, and that's not good. That's not good to me. Some people don't
Mm.
think about that. Like some people don't care about that. But I want to be, approachable. If I
Yeah.
can help somebody, you never know who you're gonna bless, right? You never know
Right.
that
You're telling the
person,
truth.
right? You never know that person you're gonna say that one sentence to that like hits their heart and that's gonna make their day. So like I don't keep headphones in case anybody in this room needs anything. And you
Yeah.
might be strangers in this room, but like if you have something to bring to me, I can help you. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna say, my honest answer. I'm gonna lead you the right way, the best way I can. So it's like
Right.
sometimes I walk through life like that. Like sometimes there's no music in the car, sometimes it's a podcast, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's silent, in the gym, sometimes it's a podcast, sometimes it's music. But like to play
Mm.
with the different parts, I think is important because sometimes your mind gets overwhelming, right?
Yep. Yep.
Boom, you put the music in. All right, let's chill. Let's get through this. Like it's a tough moment, but like this is my song. I'm gonna get through this. I feel this through my veins. It's talking to me right now. But it's like sometimes you have to go back and listen, right? When things get kind of out of whack, you go back and you listen, and you
Yeah.
start to get quiet, and you zone out, and you start to think of those answers. So I just play with listening to myself
Yeah.
and also trying to block out the things that can taint that. So
Okay.
it's the boundaries part. So like boundaries for me, they could be cutting off my hours at a certain time in the daytime.
Okay.
You can't reach me in certain evenings. You can't really reach me on a Sunday, right? But
Right.
that's because those times are allocated to my well-being, my stress level being down, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
my weekend, me enjoying my life too.
Right.
But that way, when I walk into the gym, it feels fresh. Like every Monday, I want it to feel like, all right, whoo, the weekend's over. Like, I had
Mm.
fun, it was great, but I'm back. It's time to get back to work. I don't
Right.
want it to feel like a revolving door where it's like, oh, the weekend was too fast and I'm already at work, right? So if you don't take those pauses, with my experiences, if you don't pause and you don't, have boundaries up where you can't always be here and there and help this person and that person because sometimes you're pulling yourself out of something too. Other people just can't
Right.
see it, right? So people may call on you, but they don't know what you're struggling with too because it's not for them, it's for you. It's your lesson, right? So
Mm.
setting those boundaries, is you can't always explain yourself, and that I think that's the toughest thing. Like I know like sometimes I just have to keep my mouth shut and keep pushing in this direction. And I
Right.
can't turn to this person to explain this whole thing that happened over a 3 year period is why I can't. But I just have to keep going forward. And it's just like, if that's what you feel in your heart, George, just keep pushing. Like you don't have to explain your life to anybody, but when you don't feel like you have to explain and prove, like you see and hear different things, like you'll be in different conversations and you'll they'll sound different to you, right?
Right.
And things will look different to you. And now you can look at the table you're sitting at and be like, am I outgrowing this table? Am I outgrowing this room? Because
Mm.
that's the feeling that I had when I was at that gym, right? So it's like
Mm.
I feel like I'm gonna outgrow this, and I know it. And I felt it early on. I don't know when I have to make this jump, but it's coming. This pivot's coming. Shoot, right? But I knew that's what I had to do. Like it was clear as day to me, But
Right.
if I'm always distracted, like I would just be like, man, I just can't get it right. I would have been stuck. So,
Right.
that's why I silence it. That's why I keep the boundaries up. That's why I have to keep a lot of people out because if I don't have boundaries up, then you get lost out here really easy,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I think the hardest boundaries, we set are of course with family, right?
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
family will call on us, the hardest. And it's tough. It's tough to have those boundaries with family, but in the long run, I think they do see like the path that you're taking and that it is the best path. But
Right.
it's not as easy as it sounds to just cut people out and just drive in your direction. I'm not saying that,
Right.
but it's
Agreed.
definitely worth it. It's definitely
Agreed.
worth pushing for what you want to do. So,
Yeah.
do you ever feel like like fired up some days, like like you're going in the right direction, like you feel like you're going where you should be going?
Yeah, and I really love what you just said. Like when a lot of people feel like they know that they need a change or that a change is coming and they don't know what to do, but they always it feels like I know for me, I always go searching for more information. Sometimes you don't need more information. You
Yeah,
need to
you need your
be able to
gut.
be quiet. Yeah, you need to be
You
quiet
need your
and
gut.
listen.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing that you said that I really love, you said the music can get so loud I can't hear myself.
Yep.
I don't never want to get to a place where the music gets so loud, the noise gets so loud, the marketplace
Yeah.
gets so loud, everybody,
Yeah.
culture gets so loud that I can't hear myself, that I can't hear
Come
the
on, it
God
could
in
be
me.
anything. Yeah, come
I'm
on, you
like,
can't hit
but
it. Yep.
and I love that you start your day with being able to just be quiet, be able to do something to feed yourself. Like I need to be conscious about that and make sure that that's part of my routine because you got to be able to you got to be good with you when that door
Yes.
closes. You got to be good with you.
Yes.
So man, I love to hear
Yeah,
that from
love
you,
it.
man.
What a great conversation. I'm loving this. And I feel
Yeah, for
like,
sure, for sure.
the you know, the pictures and the outside, it doesn't matter. It is what you are and how comfortable you are with yourself behind closed doors because that's what you have to sit with.
Yeah,
And it's like you don't have to be afraid of, things that you are struggling with because the more you run from them, for me, it's just like you're just like waiting to suffer almost, right?
yeah,
So it's like you're just making the pain, you're delaying it, but you know what's coming, right? So that's definitely tough. And it's like I talk about these things like I just roll through them, but I mean this is years. I mean this is
right.
years of stuff that I went through to get to a point where I don't feel like I need to prove or do this or do that. And I know how it looks to me. It looks like I don't care about anything in the world, and I'm not really looking at anybody in the gym. But like when I get to somewhere like the gym, like that's my space, like my arena where I can grow at. Like to me, like I go to work in jeans. Like I know
Mm-hmm.
trainers look at me crazy. I got jeans on, like I have two shirts on. My work shirt's always on over my shirt. Like I take it serious, but that's how I get other opportunities. And like the number one advice I give people, like dress better. like,
Mm.
like how many
Feel
people I've
better.
got promotions just dressing better at work? Oh, that's how you're dressed. If your supervisor dressed like that, would you respect them? Right?
I think
dress
that's what they were.
dress like the position you want to be in. And I see it, especially from our generation and stuff like that. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm not getting paid this. I don't know why I'm getting that. You look like you don't want it.
Right,
That's why. You
right.
look like you can't
Walking
handle
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
walk.
walk in it before it gets there so you can actually accept it with
Yeah,
grace. So,
yeah,
it's just like
man.
that's part of just being authentic, right? So it's not just the boundaries, it's also being authentic. I'm authentically setting these boundaries to protect my energy,
Yeah.
right? Because my energy has to be good. My energy has to be untainted going forward because I know certain people are going to take my energy and it's going to drain me, for 30 minutes, an hour, 3 hours, 2 days, whatever that person is going to take from me.
Oh,
I'm
that's
more
real.
aware of that now. I know the people who are going to take an hour of my energy and just have me low. I know the
Yeah,
people who are going to, have me on a high for 3 days. Like, yo, I can't wait to go back to so and so's house. We know these people, and energy is
yep,
real, right? So energy
yeah,
doesn't just disperse; it has to be transferred. So I really watch out for the complainers. I watch
right.
out for the Debbie Downers. I watch out for the negative, right? Like I watch out for that type of energy because I don't want that to stick to
On your
me.
back. Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
man! I don't
yeah,
want that to stick
yeah,
to me.
yeah.
So that's why the boundaries have to be authentic. They don't come out of nowhere. It's because I want to be good with myself behind closed doors. Like I want to
Right.
authentically laugh. I want to authentically enjoy my food. I want to authentically, go outside, enjoy the sun, enjoy my walks. Like
Yeah.
I want to enjoy life. And you can't do that with a mask on. See, you talked about wearing different
Hmm.
hats, which is very different than a mask, right? So
Yeah.
wearing different hats is important, especially as a man. You play a lot of different roles, right?
Right.
And
Right.
those are your hats you put on at home, at work, with your wife, with your kid, with your mom, with your in-laws. Like there's hats,
Hmm.
right?
I
But
got it.
it's never a mask. You know who I am. Like it's sometimes, yeah, this comes through. George being George again. But yeah, it's just how I am, right? It's gonna be authentic, but it's not gonna be a surprise. It's not gonna be like, where did
Hmm.
that come from? So
Right.
it's like you never have to tiptoe or be stressed. And I talked about a couple episodes ago with Dean Swink
My
was
man.
like coming home and just have no energy left. And I talked about with
Hmm.
Dalton with it too because
Yeah.
being teachers, the kids are asking a lot of you all day, and kids have a lot of energy, and you have to do something with all this, like direct them or get them doing something. So it's like coming home and not having that energy left is because it's hard for me to authentically speak because I'm not actually a teacher. But
Right.
maybe the mask is a little bit too thick.
Mm.
Maybe you can be more authentic and you're just afraid to be because you think that it won't be accepted at your school. Or maybe it won't be accepted in
Mm.
the teacher community. Or maybe it's new. It's a different, like maybe your authentic isn't what the cookie cutter, thing is. And I think that that's also what drains some of the
Yeah.
my sister's
For
also
sure.
a teacher. And,
Okay.
you can hear when she gets good energy from the kids and stuff like that. Like you can hear it in her voice, but like when they drain her all day, I can hear that in her voice because I call her, in the evenings, I
Right.
check on her and stuff like that. And it's just like energy is just so real. If we don't know what to do with it, it can really pull from us and get us in the spot where it's hard to climb out from.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who, and it just makes me sad because like we used to hang out like, and we were just like super cool like, and she got to this point where she was like, I woke up in a bad mood. I'm not leaving the house today. Like, what? Like, you should leave the house, right? You should definitely leave the house. And
Right.
it kept happening to the point where it's just like, I don't see that person. I don't see my friend anymore. And it's just like, I wish I knew what to say at that moment, more like how I am now, to try to pull
Hmm.
her out of that. And I don't know if I could have. I don't know if that was my, ministry, to pull her
Oh,
out. And
right.
some people are here for, a reason in the season. I get that. But to me, to just watch somebody just like back away from their light and their authenticity and like their dreams and just back into a corner was it was disheartening to watch, and it's just like, have you ever seen somebody, shy away from the church or somebody who you
Mm.
wish stayed with it, doesn't come anymore, or grew
Hmm.
up and doesn't like? Have you ever seen that like in your arena?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think again, I've heard, stories of church hurt and things that have happened between people in church or just in general. And when I hear that, first of all, my heart breaks of like that's not ever what you want to hear. Like you don't ever want to hear somebody have have that experience or be taken advantage of, or
Word.
there's people that are not it's people. So you're gonna have, just like there's shady people in the marketplace, just like there's shady people in the street. There's that can creep its way into the church, and you hate to see that, but I know that the light that he's called us to be, he's called us to walk in community. So it's like, you have to be able to trust your leadership, and that's a major key. And feeling comfortable in the church that you're in. So, finding that right church for you, finding those groups that you can be vulnerable in and it not be taken advantage of, and you be able to grow together. That doesn't one of our church part of our church vision is being a church without walls. Like that community, that sense of belonging, that sense of relationship, it shouldn't just be relegated to the church building. Like you need to take that out into the community. You need those relationships don't just reside there. But it is a good feeling to be able to come together as a group of people that believe, and it's like walking in the gym of like enjoying
Yeah.
it, like knowing that you can be excited, you can be as loud as you want to, you can just celebrate because there's something to celebrate.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I love it. And is there a
Hmm.
community outside the church? Do you guys do stuff, when you're not
Yeah,
worshiping? Like, what does that look like? Like, do you feel like you
yeah.
have community there too?
Yeah, what I love is this year we kind of revamped and relaunched our young adult ministry. And I think that the more I think about it, the more I think church was built to be in small groups. Like you can't have, I mean, you can have a church that's 50 people, you can have a church that's 500 people. But you're not going to do life in a group of 500. Like you're going to do life and learn
Mm,
what a day-to-day life looks like in small groups. Like that's where transformation is going to happen. That's where I'm going to learn what it looks like to walk out this journey. That's where that's where those kind of conversations and development and growth are going to happen. So for me, right now in this season, that young adult group, small group, is like where we get to like hang out, be able to just have cookouts, have events. Like we went
yeah.
to Top Golf last month and just hung out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I still haven't
it
been.
was nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta get you out there, man. Gotta
You
get you on
always
the golf course
working.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I need you in the gym. I need you boxing. That one
Hey,
too.
working on the hands. Come on,
Yeah.
come on. But
All right. And then so how I'll kind of wrap this up won't be too long, but
sure.
in conclusion, what
Yes, sir.
is where are you in 5 years? Where is Tre Boujai in 5 years? Where you stand now? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, for me, one thing that I've realized about myself, um, I went to school, got a degree, not in IT. I've done project management, I've done sales, and now being in sales, I'm I've gained skill sets in a lot of different areas, and I'm really just trying to become a master of my field, of really within sales and within worship, like becoming a master on the keys, like not having to think about it. Working on my voice and working on sales, my skill set, and being able to really take care of people at a high level and be able to communicate well, like that's what's next for me. And I really want to become proficient so that I can serve people at a high level. Like if I, decided years ago that that's what I want to do, okay, well, take the time to invest in yourself. Coming back to that word of invest in yourself. Like I'm trying to
Yeah.
invest in myself so
Yeah.
that I can become the version of myself that I admire.
Yeah,
I admire.
definitely.
Yeah, I want to be my son's hero. I want him to look up and say, I respect him. I respect his priorities. I respect who he is and what he's doing. So I'm trying to see that within myself. So I'm in the process of making that vision plain for myself for sure.
Yeah, that's good. You definitely have direction and vision, and you know
Yeah,
what you want. So that's definitely good. I'll definitely be checking in on you, making
for
sure
sure.
you got the fire underneath you, and
Come
everything's
on.
well.
I gotta get back in that gym, man. I've been on the push-ups. I've been on that
Hey,
body
come
by
on.
Bolden workout a little
Hey, come
bit.
on.
I'm
Don't worry,
starting.
I'm
I'm
gonna go
trying to.
live soon. I'm
Okay,
going live. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Do it from home. Yep.
I love
Come
it.
on. Yep. Start
Yeah.
the push ups, do full body hit. No equipment. I'm gonna just turn up with y'all. Just body
That
weight.
hey, That's what people need.
Come on.
You giving us what we need, man. That's one thing I respect about you, man, for sure.
All right, I'm trying to get more in the kitchen, so you guys look out for some more of that.
In the lab, in the kitchen,
Come on, it's coming. Yo, shut.
cooking up.
I ain't cooking my left hand and my right hand. Come on.
Switch it up, man.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for allowing me the time to just have a great conversation, man.
Yeah, it
It's
was
always
good.
good to
It was,
connect, bro. It's
yeah,
always good to
thank you.
connect.
Thank you for taking the time.
For sure.
I wish you well with everything that you're doing with your leadership. I hope you become a bigger leader as the year goes, and you can lead, bigger teams, and other leaders can call on you to lead their churches as well and their worship teams. So I hope that, you take on a role where leaders look at you for leadership, right? Because no matter what arena you're in, I want you to get to the height of it.
Yeah, thank you,
All
man.
right,
I wish I pray the same thing for you, man. We're gonna continue to make it happen, man, in our collective fields, man.